I have my heated gear on, and I know it's not bad today, but I rode yesterday without it, and by the end of the day I kind of was wishing I had it, so today I got it. And I think today we're gonna take you right up through Manhattan today. Instead of taking the FDR Drive, we're gonna head right up the avenue here. Oh, here we are in the garage, letting the heater warm up, finishing off a cup, and I got some stuff from Throttle Addiction. We got, because they were reasonably priced, I have a set of blacked out mid controls, so I'll throw those on. I know some of you said keep the forward controls, get an exhaust to suit, so I'm still toying with the idea of that, but since these forward controls were way cheaper than an exhaust, I figured let me get those, throw it on, see how it looks, see how it feels, and then if I don't like it, I'll continue with the idea of finding the appropriate exhaust for the fit up and for the aesthetic that I'm going for. So I have those. From Throttle Addiction, I also did get this rear fender support bracket and these sissy bar lower mounts that will accept a 1/2 inch sissy bar. This is 5/8, so I think I'm just going to, I don't want to take any material out of this by opening this up, so instead I'm going to actually just take the sissy bar itself, and I'm going to just kind of grind down the bottom a bit. It's not much I need to take off, so I just need to take off like a 1/16 all around on the bottom for, you know, about a good 2 inches, maybe not even, maybe 1.5 inches. This way this can slip in there, and then I can get a nice weld around the top. And that'll be just, you know, that'll just be a cleaner mount than what I have on there right now. That's for the bottom. And then for the top, we're going to fit it up, but this should fit up into this fender. And then I just have to drill, you know, 2 holes down into the fender. And then this would be, maybe I'll put a notch in here and have that welded to the bar, up underneath the fender. And then this way it keeps it nice and clean. There's nothing on the outside here of the fender. You know, you'll just have 2 bolts going down through the fender to this bracket. So that's a trick setup. It's better than, you know, welding something to the side here, and I don't know. A lot of people use something like this, and they just, you know, put it on there and weld it to the side. I don't want to do that. I think it's lazy. It's I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it looks great either. I don't know. Then you got to get a bolt in from the inside of the fender, getting a tool up in there sometimes if you run like a tight fender to tire clearance. You know, you can't get a tool in there, so you got to pull the wheel to get that, or you got to pull the whole fender and sissy bar together. I don't want to do that. I've done that before. It's a pain in the ass, especially if you know, the bolt starts to back out for some reason, like you didn't use Loctite. Anyway, I got some fuel line, which will double as some oil line as well. And then I think that's it. I messed up. I forgot to get a sprocket cover and a few other little things. So I will not really be able to bolt up the entire mid-control kit because I need to put on the sprocket cover. So I'm going to at least bolt up the left side mid-control, and then I can kind of hold my right foot where it'll be. I don't know. Okay. Lift is in a working position, and I'm going to put on some gloves. Let's get to taking out these two bottom bolts here so we can mount this bracket on there. Those I think are a 7/32. I do not believe I filled this primary yet. I kind of just threw it on so that I could put the motor in. I still have to run the clutch cable into there. And somebody had requested me to do a video on the primary with, you know, putting a new gasket on, and so when I pull this off to get this motor ready, I promise I will get you that video. So here we have the mount for this side. Of course I would drop that. I'm just gonna bolt it up. Snug, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Throw one of these on. That's in there. That goes. Goes like that. Okay, that's good enough. I'm not gonna go crazy on that because we don't know that we are 100% using these, and also it has to come back off soon anyway. So that's good for now, just to see how I like the mid controls. I'm now realizing I didn't look at the tank I had. Instead, I looked at the tank as they sell it now, currently. They have changed the design on the petcock fitting. So the ones they sell now have a whatever this is, the standard Harley 22 millimeter fitting. This is not that. This is a internal MPT. So this nice petcock I bought, I will not be able to use. I will have to return that and buy the correct one for this. So I can't put the petcock on and connect my fuel line and make it look more complete, but at least the tank is on there. You get an idea for the lines on the bike and what I'm going for. And so now I will climb aboard and see how the mid control will be. Sketchy. So that's actually not so bad. It's a nice 90 degrees, 90 degrees. This is a normal sitting position. I could probably deal with this. You know, some people did reach out to me in the comments or either on YouTube or on my Instagram and said, you know, you should keep the forward controls, run the forward controls, you know, find a way to make the exhaust work around the forward controls. But I don't know, there's something about mid controls. I just, you know, there's something about that, you know. Plus with a pack built out back here, you know, it's actually not bad going down the highway. It looks pretty cool. Feels good. I got these from Forever the Chaos Life. These are the weld-on shorty passenger pegs. These are a slick little part. I fabricated something like this before with a bung, and actually these pegs, I had these hard mounted to the rear of the frame before I recut the frame and re-hardtailed it with a different design hardtail. But these ones, you know, these are a short little guy. It seems like they're made with the same peg that would be on the shifter, and it looks like they just utilized that to go onto a bung that would be, you know, welded to the frame. It's coped to match the size of this frame, so it'll look real clean, you know, welded on there. I just have to get everything dialed in with the rear so that it's, you know, how it's going to be. And then I gotta have my lovely lady sit on the back and tell me exactly, you know, where on the frame would be comfortable for her, and then I'll mark it, and then I'll tack it and weld it up. But so that's a cool part from Forever the Chaos Life. If you're looking for a slick way to do some short little rear passenger pegs on your chopper, that's the way to do it. They're not sticking out too far where they're gonna, you know, you're gonna hit your leg on it like I did with these. Like, these are considerably shorter than these ones were, and I would whack myself in the thigh with these quite often. But This is a slick way to mount some little sensible rear pegs for your passenger. So, and they come with a little Allen set screw and the Allen tool, so that you would send that in there with a little bit of Loctite, so that this peg doesn't, you know, slowly over time come loose and you lose it, and then, you know, your girl is like, well, what do I do with my other leg now? So that's cool. I got that. That'll go on eventually. But I think we'll get into maybe cleaning up these rear parts of this sissy bar so that I can fit them up into these, and then I can see how the that fender brace fits in here and see how that looks. So, and here's a trick for anybody who if you need to scribe a line around a bar, whether it's handlebars, frame tubing, sissy bar, anything, if you need to scribe an even line all the way around, what you do is you get your point of where your line needs to be, and then you take a piece of paper with a nice edge and you wrap it around. Make sure it's long enough to wrap around the object at least one time with some overlap. And what works great for this is a dollar bill, because you have flat ends. You can get a nice, you can tuck it in nice, get a nice wrap. Make sure that the edge is even, not crooked. And once you wrap it nice and tight, then you can mark that edge. And then whether you have to cut it or grind it or paint, you know, whatever it is you need to do that you're marking it for, now you have a nice, consistent, even line all the way around. And if you're doing this on the job or something, what I like to do is I usually ask a coworker if they got a dollar bill, and then make sure you tell them that the larger the denomination of the bill, the straighter the dollar will be. So if they got a 20 or 100, use that. And then after you're done, put it in your pocket, see if they notice. Okay, so we got that tapered down so that these will fit. This one is a little more snug than the other one. That's why it slid off, but that's okay, because it's gonna be fully welded around and it's gonna be great. So let me bolt this back on just to see how we like it. Right now, while I have this set where I want it, I'm going to put some tacks on it just so that it stays there, and then I can you know, mess with the top end and everything like that. So I'm just going to get some tacks on there for you, and then we're just going to keep it moving. So did some measuring here to make sure everything is going to work out okay. I'm probably not going to use this piece that I put a little bend in, because just the legs on it are not long enough to be able to bend them around the fender and come out and get enough engagement on this piece. I think I'm happy with it. The only other thing I could do is I could take it off, lay it down on the table, and then make sure my measurements inside to inside here with laying it on a center line. Make sure the measurements here are even, and then down here, and then here. But I think it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple more tacks on here and on the other side as well. I'm not gonna fully weld it until I'm happy with everything. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and do that now. That is tacked up good. It's tightened down real good, so that's not going anywhere. That is where I want the sissy bar to sit. So now I gotta see what time it is. I probably gotta head out of here shortly. But we will start with that bend for this, hold that up to this and see what I need to do to make the correct one. And then I will bend that bar to suit what I would like here. So we'll get into that next time. I gotta head home, and that's, I think, all we're really gonna get to today.